going to do was show you guys how I would change a stake pocket, so, or a taillight corner quarter panel. I'm not really sure what the technical term of this is, but you can see it had a tire carrier on it, and all these get just trashed, and I'm not sure what caught it here. Peeled this back. I tried to push it forward to see if I could fix this one, but it's just a little too far trashed. This quarter panel here, upper panel feels really good, and this side panel feels really good. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. So we need to cut this weld here where this overlaps and hooks to the stake pocket itself. And then there's some spot welds through here, and then there's some, try to get these spot welds done. And the hard part about these, if you can see it, there's actually one panel here, another panel behind it, and then you got this panel. This piece here, you know, your actual stake pocket, is this piece here. Well, the quarter panel is here, and then you've got this slides in between them. So what I like to do is go ahead and we'll take a cutting wheel, we'll cut along here, and we'll get rid of this entire piece with just a little bit here. That way we can work this edge here where it's kind of pulled apart. Our spot welds have pulled this panel apart. This doesn't feel distorted, so I think we kind of lucked out there. So let's grab a grinder, and I'm going to go ahead and take this piece off, get it out of the way. So we got that thing tore off there. Basically this piece here stuck in there, and there was one little tiny spot weld that I was able to reach in from the back and get like right here. So I kind of tore the bottom of this up a little bit getting it out. However, we did get it out. We took it out in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So now we'll get the new panel that we did get from Tom's Off-Road Parts, which is this new taillight housing. About like so. And to drill a few spot welds through here. Those would be like 3 spot welds here, 3 spot welds there, and a couple spot welds down here. So we're gonna make sure this is nice and square. Down here you can see it's tweaked out just a little bit, so we'll kind of tweak on that. We'll have to weld this up where it cracked. Get this thing cleaned up through here. Hammer and dolly this. I'll weld this little crack up. Hammer and dolly this out flat. Then we'll use some vice grips to come in here and hold all that in place. Once we got that piece cleaned up, so that's what we'll do now. We got this quarter panel taillight housing all sanded down with 80 grit, cleaned up nice so we could do some filler work on it, and then scuff the inside of that. It's basically if we get any overspray in there, it'll stick. And drilled some 3/16 holes here for our spot welds. Now we'll get that set up on the rig, clamped in place, and get ready to weld it. Alright, so we got that clamped in place. Basically I got a clamp up here and a clamp pinching this lip so that the taillight housing fits tight up against this, so when we spot weld it, we've got contact here, and I got this just kind of help holding that back. I've got a clamp coming in through this hole here, which is pinching this here together. And then I've got another clamp down here, doing the same as the top, holding that in, and then I've tried to push this all the way over to where the back of this stake pocket is actually hitting the edge of this taillight housing. And then we got working pretty good through here. We got a nice gap. We're just kind of splitting the two between this being a little out and this being a little out. This being a little out. Fits real good here. It's just a little out here, but we're gonna seam seal that, and it's about as close as the factory work. So I'll probably weld it to somewhere in here. Reach in here and try to weld these two, and then we got a clamp holding that up here on this body line, and another one down here. I'm only going to weld to about here, and then I'll start working this area down here over with a, that wasn't too dark, this area here over with a hammer and dolly probably weld the bottom of this, but right now I'm just worried about getting the top of this the best I can. I'm gonna do that, just reach in here and weld these 2 or 3 little 1/2 inch long spot welds in there, and then and then we're gonna weld up here, and we'll weld this just like the factory had done over here. And then we'll do our spot welds to the top of that. That should hold that taillight pocket right where it's supposed to be. Alright, so I've had that on and off there a couple times, checking the fit. And it looks to me, probably from me hammering on it, and then that panel being pushed out here, it's actually rolled this inner stake pocket. Luckily, looking at this, it didn't really mess this up. But it looks like it pushed this out, which would have been this and this. So I'm just trying to see if I can force this back out here. Basically, when I put my taillight pocket on, and I was measuring from this edge right here to this edge right there, and then from here to here, it was 1/4 of an inch off, too far in. Our tailgate's 58 inches wide, just a hair under, and we were 58 1/4 and 58 1/2. So I would like to put both of these at 58 1/2. That would give us a 1/2 inch in between, and it would give us a 1/4 inch to settle our tailgate in and out, or from back and forth. So we'd have about a 1/4 inch tailgate gap, which would be just about right. So I'm going to try to force that over a little bit, and I'm kind of just getting back looking at it. Looks quite a bit straighter up and down. And then we'll set that back on there, take some measurements, and hopefully this time we can start welding. So we got that welded on. We got the back of it welded. This was kind of torn up, but we just got it kind of tack welded in. And we got that tack welded in. And we got that where they come together. I kind of just melted the two, spot welded this 1/4 to this brace, and then you could tell up through there we've got some heat, and that's just holding this to the 1/4 panel. The panel to the taillight housing. And then I put a little tack in here, and then went ahead and welded this kind of like the factory did over there, and then spot welded in through here, and we're still 58 inches from here to there, and from there to here. So with any luck, hopefully, oh, and the other measurement I did take was from here to here, to the outside of this is 2.5 inches. You'll have just a little bit of room in your hinges, but you want to try to get those measurements as close as you can. I was 58 1/2 across, 58 1/2 across, and a 2.5 from here to this outer edge on both sides. So now I know that that 1/4 panel should be dead on with this 1/4 panel, and our back of our Bronco is still square. So now I'll take 36 inch on a roll lock and just kind of clean these welds up. And I'll put a little filler on those. The rest of that should be good until we come back with a little seam sealer, and we'll seam seal this in. I want to do my body work first and then seam seal over that. So I'll grind that up, get some filler mixed up, and then we'll put some on that.